Welcome back to Shadow Below. Tonight, we speak of a name once whispered behind palace doors, blamed for ruined weddings, vanished kings, and queens who woke up, not alone, but already possessed. This is not just myth. This is Asmodeus. His name has appeared across time, in ancient Persia, Babylon, and the apocryphal texts of early Christianity and Judaism. But the warnings are always the same. He feeds on desire. He waits at the wedding bed. He burns those who try to love what he already owns. In the Book of Tobit, a scripture once accepted in some early Christian canons, Asmodeus is named outright as a demon who murdered 7 husbands, each on their wedding night, before they could touch their bride. The bride, a woman named Sarah, was said to be cursed. But the truth, some say, was simpler. Asmodeus wanted her, and once he chooses, he does not let go. In Hebrew tradition, Asmodeus or Ashmedai is listed among the highest-ranking demons, a king of the Shiddim spirits of destruction. Not merely a tempter, like Satan. Asmodeus is a devourer of will. He doesn't seduce, he erodes. Talmudic texts describe him as 3-headed, 1 human, 1 ram, 1 bull, with the feet of a cock and the tail of a serpent, breathing flame from his nostrils, riding upon a dragon, and drinking from a chalice of poisoned wine. He is not chaos. He is calculated ruin. He offers power, but only to take more. In the Ars Goetia, the first part of the Lesser Key of Solomon, Asmodeus is ranked as the 32nd spirit. There, he's described as a strong and mighty king, appearing with 3 heads, riding upon an infernal dragon, carrying a spear and banner, speaking truthfully, but only when commanded in Solomon's ring. It is said Solomon bound him beneath a mountain, forcing him to help build the temple. But the demon laughed the whole time, because building is nothing to him. He waits for things to fall, and fall they did. Legends in European courts, especially during the rise and fall of monarchies, blamed Asmodeus for affairs, scandals, and sudden madness among royal heirs. One account from 16th century France claims a nobleman's wife, known for her cold beauty, was seen walking into the royal chapel at midnight, barefoot, eyes open, her mouth murmuring in a language that made candles shudder. The next morning, her husband was dead. His body twisted, mouth torn wide in a scream that never came out. They said Asmodeus had found her again, and this time, he stayed. Asmodeus is not just lust. He is what lust becomes when it festers. Obsession, jealousy, madness. He doesn't just take your desires. He replaces them. And once he lives in your longing, you'll crave nothing else. Not food, not rest, not God. Only the absence of control. Only him. The texts call him a king. The legends call him a curse. But the survivors, they call him a voice that never leaves. Across centuries, Asmodeus appears not in fire, but in relationships that burn too hot, too fast, then end in death. The signs are always the same. Sudden obsession, violent jealousy, night terrors involving serpents or flames, and the whisper of a name in a language the dreamer never learned. Let's begin in 1953. Tuscany, Italy. A young bride named Elena was found strung lead in her marital bed, not by her husband, but by herself. The autopsy revealed finger marks on her throat. Her own. Her diary, discovered days later, contained this chilling passage. He said the others were mistakes. He said I was worth staying for. He said he would make sure I never needed to be touched by any man again. On the final page, I said yes, scrawled over and over, in a spiral, with burnt edges. The locals say the bed burned the day after her funeral. No one lit it. Another case. Baltimore, 1997. A college student named Henry Roswell claimed to have summoned an old Persian demon during an obsessive phase of researching forbidden grain. He was found naked, dehydrated, and surrounded by dozens of wedding rings he had stolen from local pawn shops. He told police, "I was building a dowry. She wanted a dowry. The Queen of Fire." When asked who she was, it, Asmodeus. "I saw him inside her. He was wearing her face." Henry was institutionalized, but nurses reported that he only slept during lightning storms and woke up reciting verses in ancient Aramaic, despite having no known language training. Tokyo, 2012. A popular pop idol named Yume disappeared after telling her fans during a "I don't need any of you anymore." He said, "I'm perfect, just like this. Always looked at, never touched." 3 months later, she was found alive, inside a shrine, wearing a wedding dress. Eyes, milky white. Fingertips covered in ink. The ink matched a ritual binding prayer, written in reverse across the walls, 100 times, using the name ASM. What do these cases share? Asmodeus never possesses with force. He offers, he courts, and then he replaces. Modern demonologists say Asmodeus is one of the most active postmodern entities because his power thrives in emotional saturation, relationships driven by obsession over social media, sexual dominance, power imbalance. Famous Love One researcher noted, Asmodeus is not just in the bedroom. He's in the DM, the late night text, the second drink, the third lie. In exorcism reports, he is often the last spirit to reveal himself, because he hides behind what feels good. And when the victim begs for help, he doesn't rage. He smiles, because he knows. You invited me when you whispered her name, but thought of someone else. In pop culture, Asmodeus is often portrayed as a flamboyant tempter, all red silk and devilish charm. A cartoon villain in demon circles, a symbol of lust, nothing more. But that's the lie he wants you to believe. Because Asmodeus doesn't take what you already offer. He waits until you offer what you swore you never would. And by then, it's too late. How to recognize his touch? He doesn't arrive with fire. He arrives in obsession. That friend who suddenly isolates themselves after a new relationship. The person who stops sleeping, not from insomnia, but from fear of dreaming. The artist whose work grows erotic, then erratic, then violent. The mirror you pass by, and for half a second, you don't recognize yourself. These are not coincidences. These are fingerprints. And his are burned in, not wiped clean. The most common signs of his influence: dreams of staircases that descend, endlessly unexplained bite marks. Not deep, but strangely symmetrical seeing rings. Gold, rusted, or broken. Appear in random places, whispers of a name you forget. The moment you wake feeling watched, only when undressed. Never clothed. Modern rituals and their risks. There are whispers of modern rituals designed to summon Asmodeus. Most are dismissed as urban legend. But here are 3 that demonologists agree should never be attempted, even in jest. The candle mirror test. Lighting 7 red candles before a mirror while repeating "My passion is yours. My will is mine" invites a spirit that doesn't leave, even when the candles do. The wedding dress summoning. Wearing a bridal item and sleeping alone while reciting the reversed names of fallen angels. Known side effect: sleep paralysis, involving a black-winged figure kneeling on the chest. The salt ring deception. A fake protective circle laced with iron filings. Those who step inside report voices saying, "He let you in." These aren't games. They're doors. And doors don't ask who walks through them. They only open What films get wrong, movies make 'em obvious. Seductive, predictable, often male. But in truth, Asmodeus has no gender, no stable form. He appears as whatever you crave, then twists it. In one case file, he appeared as a dead spouse. In another, as a future child begging to be born. In yet another, as a version of the victim themselves. But more beautiful, more loved, more complete. He doesn't tempt you with what you fear. He tempts you with what you miss. Final warning, Asmodeus doesn't kill you. He waits for you to kill everything else. For him. So if you ever wake in sweat, heart racing, with the faint scent of myrrh and rust in the air. If you ever dream of golden rings rolling toward your hands. If you ever feel a voice inside you whisper, I can make you enough. Say nothing. Speak no name. Do not answer. Thank you for watching Shadow Below. You've been listening, but something may have been listening to. If this story disturbed you, it should. Subscribe only if you're ready. And remember, some demons don't chase you. They wait until you chase something else. And follow the scent. Good night. Don't wear white tonight.